The tower and the tree, two symbols that appear across cultures, religions, and myths. Both speak to humanity's longing to ascend. One reaches skyward, built by human hands. The other grows from the earth, guided by divine rhythm. Together, they trace a journey between heaven and earth, mortality and transcendence, knowledge and enlightenment. From the ziggurats of Mesopotamia to the sacred trees of Africa and Asia, these archetypes reveal how every faith envisions connection, growth, and spiritual ascent. In this video, we'll explore their meanings, uncover their hidden links, and see how the tower and the tree continue to inspire seekers today. Across cultures and civilizations, human beings have sought to understand their place in the cosmos. Two recurring symbols appear in these spiritual explorations: the tower and the tree. Though seemingly opposite in form, one built by human hands, the other growing naturally from the earth, both convey a profound journey of ascent, connection, and transcendence. They reflect the human yearning to bridge the gap between the mundane and the divine, to reach higher realms of consciousness, while staying rooted in life's realities. The tower, humanity's reach toward the divine. The tower is a symbol of aspiration, ambition, and the human drive to reach the heavens. It appears in multiple religious and mythological contexts, often representing the desire to approach, understand, or even challenge the divine. One of the earliest examples is the ziggurats of ancient Mesopotamia. These massive, step structures were built in the cities of Sumer, Akkad, and Babylon, serving as temples dedicated to the gods. The towering ziggurats were believed to be the axis between earth and heaven, a physical representation of spiritual ascent where priests and worshippers could draw closer to divine presence. In the biblical story of the Tower of Babel, the tower also embodies human ambition. Here, the people sought to build a structure that would reach the heavens. The narrative emphasizes both aspiration and limitation. Human beings strive to reach the divine, but unchecked ambition without humility can lead to chaos. The story serves as a warning that ascent must be balanced with wisdom and respect for higher powers. In Christianity, the tower frequently symbolizes faith, perseverance, and spiritual striving. Gothic cathedrals in medieval Europe, with their soaring spires, were designed to draw the eyes upward, lifting both the body and spirit toward God. These architectural marvels were not merely functional. They were embodiments of prayer and devotion in stone, encouraging the faithful to contemplate the heavens while walking the earthly path. Even in secular mythologies, towers often appear as symbols of human achievement and spiritual quest. From the towers of Isengard and Orthanc in Tolkien's Legendarium to modern literary representations of skyscrapers as monuments to ambition, the tower remains a metaphor for the human desire to ascend, to rise above limitations, and to connect with something greater than oneself. The tree, nature's bridge between earth and sky. If the tower symbolizes constructed ascent, the tree represents natural ascent. Trees grow from the earth, stretching toward the sky, embodying the balance between grounding and spiritual reach. They are universal symbols of life, wisdom, and connection to the cosmos. In Norse mythology, Yggdrasil, the world tree, stands at the center of existence. Its roots reach into the underworld. Its trunk anchors the earthly plane, and its branches extend into the heavens, connecting gods, humans, and spirits. Yggdrasil is both a map of the cosmos and a guide for spiritual ascent. Its symbolism emphasizes that growth and transcendence are not merely vertical, but multidimensional. One must remain rooted while reaching upward. Similarly, in many African and indigenous traditions, sacred trees serve as sites of worship, storytelling, and community gatherings. The baobab, for example, is often considered a tree of wisdom and shelter. These trees symbolize life cycles, interconnection, and spiritual anchoring, reminding people that ascent and enlightenment do not mean detachment from the earth, but harmony with it. In Eastern traditions, trees carry deep spiritual meanings as well. In Buddhism, the Bodhi tree under which Siddhartha Gautama attained enlightenment represents awakening, insight, and the potential for every being to rise above suffering while remaining connected to the living world. Similarly, in Hinduism, sacred trees like the peepal or ashvatha embody cosmic order and continuity, standing as bridges between human life, divine forces, and natural law. Common themes: ascent, connection, and transformation. While towers and trees arise in different contexts and take distinct forms, they share key symbolic functions. Ascent. Both the tower and the tree are symbols of upward movement. The tower embodies human ambition and effort to reach the divine, while the tree represents natural growth and spiritual awakening. The ascent is both literal and metaphorical, signifying striving for higher knowledge, consciousness, or spiritual union. Connection. Towers and trees serve as bridges between realms. Towers connect earth with the heavens through construction and human intent. Trees connect the underworld, earth, and sky through natural growth and cosmic symbolism. Both highlight the human need to navigate between material and spiritual realities. Transformation. The act of ascending, whether climbing a tower or observing a tree's growth, symbolizes transformation. It is a journey of personal or collective elevation, often involving trials, reflection, and enlightenment. Towers require labor, discipline, and planning. Trees grow according to natural laws, teaching patience, resilience, and harmony with the cosmos. Towers and trees across cultures. Mesopotamia. Ziggurats served as literal and symbolic stairways to the divine, representing both religious devotion and the societal hierarchy that aimed to bring humans closer to the gods. Biblical tradition. The Tower of Babel warns of overreaching ambition, while trees like the Tree of Life in Genesis symbolize divine wisdom and eternal connection. Norse mythology. Yggdrasil embodies the cosmos itself, linking gods, humans, and spirits in a dynamic network of interdependence. Buddhism. The Bodhi tree represents enlightenment, showing that spiritual ascent is rooted in meditation, understanding, and moral cultivation rather than force or ambition. African traditions. Sacred trees anchor communities, offer guidance, and serve as loci for storytelling, rituals, and ancestral worship. Christianity. Cathedral spires and bell towers reach heavenward, reminding worshippers of God's presence and the aspiration to transcend earthly limits. Modern symbolism. In literature, cinema, and art, towers and trees continue to represent human ambition, spiritual quests, and the tension between striving and grounding. Skyscrapers symbolize societal ascent, while fictional trees often mark portals, wisdom, or mystical growth. Towers and trees in dialogue. The interplay between towers and trees offers a rich, symbolic dialogue. Where towers represent human effort and constructed ambition, trees represent natural wisdom and organic growth. Together, they illuminate the balance needed in spiritual ascent. One must strive, plan, and act tower, while remaining grounded, patient, and connected to life's rhythms. Tree. Consider a pilgrimage up a sacred mountain. The path may be marked by shrines, stairways, or towers. Yet the journey is also framed by natural surroundings, trees, rivers, and stones. Both constructed and natural elements guide the seeker, reflecting the twin lessons of towers and trees. Ascend with effort, but remain rooted in wisdom. This dual symbolism can also be seen in personal development and spiritual practice. The tower represents goal setting, discipline, and aspiration. The tree reminds us of humility, interconnectedness, and the natural timing of growth. True ascent integrates both, climbing higher without losing touch with one's roots. Lessons from the tower and the tree. Balance ambition with grounding. Like climbing a tower, humans must aim high, but like a tree, they must also remain rooted in reality, morality, and community. Integration of effort and nature. Human effort alone cannot guarantee enlightenment or fulfillment. Observing natural growth cycles and rhythms, embodied by the tree, teaches resilience and patience. Connection across realms. Both symbols remind us that life is multi-layered. Spiritual ascent involves not only reaching upward, but connecting with others, ancestors, the environment, and the cosmos. Universality of ascent, from Mesopotamia to Africa, from Europe to Asia. These symbols reveal that all humans share a longing for growth, transcendence, and connection. Despite cultural differences, towers and trees reflect shared aspirations of humanity. Contemporary reflections. Towers and trees in the modern world. In the contemporary era, the symbols of the tower and the tree remain as relevant and compelling as they were in ancient civilizations. While these symbols once served primarily spiritual or religious purposes, today they carry layered meanings in cultural, social, and ecological contexts. They inspire architecture, urban planning, art, literature, and even environmental consciousness. At their core, towers and trees continue to speak to humanity's dual need, to strive, innovate, and reach higher, while also staying grounded, connected, and attuned to the rhythms of life. Towers, modern monuments of ambition. The tower has always symbolized aspiration and the human desire to ascend. In contemporary society, this ambition is most clearly expressed in urban architecture. Skyscrapers dominate the skylines of major cities, from New York to Dubai, Shanghai to Nairobi. These structures are not merely functional. They are statements of creativity, technological prowess, and social identity. Each soaring edifice reflects a society's ambitions and values, often serving as symbols of economic strength, innovation, and progress. For instance, the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, standing over 828 meters tall, is not only an engineering marvel, but also a cultural icon. It embodies the human impulse to push boundaries, conquer limits, and create something enduring and monumental. Skyscrapers like this mirror the ancient towers of Mesopotamia or the Gothic spires of Europe, connecting contemporary society to a long history of human striving toward the skies. They are modern prayers in steel and glass, testaments to ingenuity and vision. Yet the contemporary tower also carries cautionary symbolism. As urban landscapes grow denser and vertical, questions arise about sustainability, social equity, and human well-being. Towering constructions, while symbols of ambition, can also signify isolation, inequality, or detachment from nature. They remind us that ascent, whether spiritual, social, or technological, must be tempered with awareness, responsibility, and ethical consideration. Modern towers, therefore, continue the dual message of their ancient counterparts: aspiration paired with accountability, ambition balanced by humility. Trees, roots of continuity and connection. If towers represent constructed ambition, trees continue to symbolize natural growth, grounding, and enduring wisdom. In today's world, trees hold cultural, ecological, and psychological significance. They are reminders of the interdependence between human life and the environment, standing as symbols of resilience, continuity, and connection to the earth. Urban forestry, conservation efforts, and the protection of sacred groves demonstrate society's recognition of this enduring symbolism. Cities increasingly integrate trees into streetscapes, parks, and rooftop gardens. For example, the High Line in New York City transforms a former elevated railway into a green urban corridor, blending nature with urban design. Such projects highlight how trees can anchor human life in the midst of rapid technological and social change, offering spaces for reflection, relaxation, and reconnection with natural rhythms. In rural and indigenous contexts, trees continue to be central to cultural identity and spiritual practice. Sacred groves in India, Africa, and Latin America protect biodiversity while preserving ancestral wisdom and ritual practice. The reverence for trees reflects a recognition that human growth, whether intellectual, spiritual, or social, is inseparable from ecological harmony. The tree is both a teacher and a witness, offering lessons in patience, resilience, and balance, reminding us that sustainable ascent must be grounded in respect for life's interconnected web. Balancing towers and trees. Lessons for modern society. In the contemporary world, the dialogue between towers and trees offers profound lessons. Modern society faces the challenge of reconciling rapid technological progress with ecological responsibility, global ambition with local well-being, and innovation with tradition. Towers and trees, as enduring archetypes, provide a symbolic framework for navigating these tensions. Innovation and sustainability. Towers demonstrate humanity's capacity to innovate, to solve complex problems, and to envision ambitious futures. Trees remind us that innovation must consider long-term sustainability, ecological balance, and the preservation of life-supporting systems. Together, these symbols advocate for development that is ambitious yet conscientious, inventive yet sustainable. Ambition and humility. The tower urges humanity to reach higher, to explore new horizons, and to expand the boundaries of knowledge and capability. The tree teaches humility, grounding, and the importance of learning from natural processes. In contemporary contexts, this balance is critical. Scientific and technological advances, while transformative, must be tempered by ethical reflection and respect for natural and social systems. Urban design and well-being. Towers dominate cityscapes, yet urban life can become disconnected from nature, leading to physical, psychological, and social challenges. Integrating trees into urban planning, from parks and gardens to green rooftops and vertical forests, enhances human well-being, mitigates environmental degradation, and fosters community cohesion. The interplay of towers and trees in urban environments symbolizes a holistic vision for human habitats, where growth and grounding coexist. Cultural and spiritual continuity. Trees maintain links to ancestral wisdom, cultural heritage, and spiritual practice. Towers, while often secular today, still carry symbolic resonance as monuments to human aspiration and collective achievement. In modern societies, the integration of these symbols through architecture, public art, and cultural preservation supports continuity, identity, and shared meaning across generations. Towers and trees in contemporary art and literature. Artists, writers, and filmmakers continue to explore the symbolic tension between towers and trees. In literature, the tower often represents ambition, isolation, or societal power, while the tree represents wisdom, continuity, and rootedness. For example, in dystopian narratives, towering cities may symbolize oppressive structures or human hubris, while hidden forests or sacred trees serve as sites of resistance, reflection, and renewal. Visual arts also draw on these symbols. Modern sculpture, installation art, and architecture often juxtapose verticality and organic growth to explore themes of balance, progress, and ecological awareness. For example, Bosco Verticale in Milan, a pair of residential towers covered in trees and vegetation, embodies the literal integration of towers and trees, merging human ambition with ecological consciousness. This innovation demonstrates that ancient symbolism can inspire tangible solutions to contemporary challenges. Ecological and philosophical implications. The contemporary significance of towers and trees extends beyond culture into ecology and philosophy. Environmental crises, climate change, and urban expansion force humanity to reconsider its relationship with the natural world. Towers, as symbols of human dominance and technological reach, highlight both the potential and the risks of progress. Trees, as symbols of resilience and ecological wisdom, emphasize the necessity of stewardship, interconnectedness, and sustainable living. Philosophically, towers and trees invite reflection on the nature of progress and fulfillment. Is human achievement measured solely by ascent, by reaching higher, constructing taller, or innovating faster? Or does true growth require grounding, patience, and alignment with natural and moral laws? The dialogue between these symbols encourages a holistic understanding that human flourishing depends on the integration of aspiration and rootedness, effort and patience, innovation and ecological wisdom. Global urbanization and the challenge of balance. Today, more than half of humanity lives in cities, and urbanization continues to accelerate. This shift amplifies the tension between towers and trees, between ambition and ecological necessity. Skyscrapers rise as monuments to human ingenuity and economic progress, but often at the cost of green spaces, biodiversity, and social equity. Urban planners and architects face the challenge of designing cities that support both vertical growth and ecological grounding. Vertical forests, green rooftops, and urban parks exemplify practical applications of the Tower Tree Dialogue. Cities like Singapore, Copenhagen, and Vancouver integrate greenery into dense urban areas, promoting air quality, mental health, and ecological sustainability. These interventions demonstrate that towers and trees are not just metaphors. They are guiding principles for shaping environments that honor both human ambition and natural life. Psychological and spiritual dimensions. On an individual level, towers and trees also serve as symbols of personal growth and well-being. Towers represent goals, ambition, and the striving toward higher states of consciousness or achievement. Trees represent mindfulness, resilience, and the importance of staying connected to one's roots, values, and community. Integrating these symbols into daily life can inspire a balanced approach to personal development. Aiming high while remaining grounded, pursuing success while nurturing relationships, and seeking knowledge while cultivating wisdom. Meditative and contemplative practices often draw on the imagery of towers and trees. Visualization exercises may involve climbing a tower to symbolize progress, exploration, or problem-solving, while grounding techniques may focus on the deep roots of a tree, emphasizing stability, presence, and connection. Together, these practices illustrate the enduring psychological relevance of these ancient symbols. Technological symbolism, towers, trees, and digital space. Even in the digital age, towers and trees retain metaphorical power. The architecture of information networks, social hierarchies, and virtual spaces often mirrors these symbols. Towers can represent centralized authority, hierarchical structures, or pathways to achievement, while trees represent branching connections, networks, and interrelated systems. Software architecture, knowledge mapping, and data visualization frequently use tree structures to depict growth, dependency, and interconnection. The persistence of these symbols in digital space demonstrates their universality and adaptability across time, culture, and medium. The future of towers and trees. Looking forward, towers and trees will likely continue to inspire innovation, ecological consciousness, and spiritual reflection. As humanity faces climate change, urban density, and technological acceleration, the balance symbolized by these archetypes becomes ever more crucial. Tower-like structures must be envisioned with environmental responsibility, while tree-like wisdom must inform urban design, policy, and lifestyle choices. Architects, urban planners, artists, and educators can draw on these symbols to cultivate spaces and systems that honor human aspiration while sustaining ecological and social life. Towers and trees, ancient symbols now adapted to modern contexts, guide humanity toward holistic growth, resilience, and meaning. In contemporary society, towers and trees remain vibrant, multifaceted symbols. Towers articulate ambition, technological achievement, and societal aspiration. Trees embody wisdom, resilience, and the grounding forces of life. Together, they offer a model for balancing human creativity and ecological stewardship, ambition and humility, innovation and tradition. In urban landscapes, ecological design, art, literature, and personal development, these symbols continue to resonate, reminding humanity of the need for integrated growth. Just as ancient cultures looked to towers and trees for spiritual guidance, modern society can look to them for insight into sustainable, meaningful, and balanced living. Ultimately, towers and trees challenge us to envision a future where reaching higher does not mean abandoning the ground beneath our feet, where ambition does not overshadow responsibility, and where innovation complements rather than replaces natural wisdom. By embracing the dialogue between ascent and grounding, humanity can cultivate cities, societies, and lives that are not only ambitious and advanced, but also rooted, resilient, and harmonious with the broader web of life. The tower and the tree in all their forms remain enduring guides. One points upward, inviting aspiration. The other extends roots and branches, reminding us of connection and continuity. Together, they symbolize the integrated journey of modern life, where progress and sustainability, ambition and humility, and human creativity and ecological wisdom coexist in dynamic, inspiring balance. From ancient ziggurats to sacred groves, the tower and the tree remind us that the human spirit has always sought to rise, physically, mentally, and spiritually. One symbolizes ambition and striving, the other grounding and growth. Together, they map the path between earth and sky, mortality and transcendence. These symbols continue to shape our stories, rituals, and dreams, urging us to reach higher while staying rooted. As we reflect on their meanings, we see that ascent is not just about climbing or reaching, but about balance, connection, and understanding. Keep these symbols in mind. They guide the journey within and beyond.